Hello everyone, welcome back to League of Legends DFS Esports Breakdown for July the 10th. As you guys can tell, my voice is still pretty gone, I'm still pretty stuffy, so this is going to be an extremely short video. I just want to get something out a little bit more than just a tweet, but do not expect, the usual kind of explanation and, kind of stuff that we talk about here. So give me 1 second actually, as I forgot to pull up the lineups, so give me 1 second here because those are important. So here they are. Over here we'll quickly recap and then continue as we do. So let's see match history. So over in the LCK, things went according to plan. Dom 1 got the 2-0. Somewhat unfortunately, I don't know if you guys follow my Twitter, you'll see I tweeted out I was actually in first place, winning a nice $1,000 up until the Dom 1 game, where Dom 1 decided to get infinite kills and win the game and ultimately take away all my money. So, it's kind of unfortunate. However, we did correctly pick the Live Sandbox 2-0. I thought they were a good bit better than Nongshim, so we were on the right side of that one for sure. Pretty pleased with that. Got both the LCK games correct. Over in the LPL, things were a little bit more dicey. I'm trying to get it so we only show the yesterday's matches, but AL ended up taking the 2-0. It was overall a pretty decent look from them. I still think, again, both these teams are relatively in comparison to the whole league and stuff, but Ultra Prime definitely had positions. They definitely were definitely in it. However, I just think at the end of the day, the better team fighting, coordinated group team, like the cohesion was much more better from the AL side, and that's ultimately what ended up winning out for them, in my opinion, on that one. Again, not the greatest look from them. They definitely were in some bad spots and got bailed out a little bit. Overall, they definitely would have been punished by some better teams, but they ended up getting the job done as the slight favorite and winning that one out. So pretty good stuff from them. Then we move on to the next one, BLG versus Weibo. So although we did pick Weibo to win and they did ultimately win, I do think we kind of missed the mark a little bit on that one. I thought Weibo was going to dominate BLG here a little bit, and it was far from that. Weibo kind of scraped by for sure in this one. That's kind of been their mantra so far. They've definitely been pretty inconsistent across the board and all that stuff. However, I just didn't expect the level of decent cohesion from BLG. Overall, kind of watching these games from the BLG Weibo series, I feel like both these teams are pretty bad, honestly. I saw a lot of pretty obvious glaring mistakes from these teams, specifically from Fofo. I saw a lot of pretty questionable plays in that one. So, not the best one, not the best series that we predicted, but especially from a DFS aspect, I didn't go too heavy on them. I wasn't too big on that series in the first place, but kind of is what it is. We just were not quite on the mark with that one. And then RNG this one did go to 3. It was very close. It did end up going our way. Top Esports ended up bringing out the better end. Again, this is one I definitely feel like, although it didn't go our way, I feel like we actually were kind of wrong on this one. This is something obviously I kind of rarely say. Usually I'm on these videos talking about, things didn't go our way, but we were close and all that kind of stuff. I think in this spot, things didn't go our way and it was close. However, I still think we kind of missed some things, and that's ultimately, I think, what separates kind of winning long term and that kind of stuff, is recognizing the possibilities and the outlooks here. Mainly what it came down to is the top lane. I still kind of overrate Breathe a good bit and maybe underrate Wayward a good bit. Wayward was by far the better top lane in this entire series. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. And then obviously I thought Xiaohu was going to come back a little bit here as well, and he obviously ended up not doing much himself. So Not the best overall look from RNG. They're still not quite there yet. It still seems like they're kind of still getting all that stuff back together. Um, and Top Esports just looked a lot better. I think I definitely should have recognized and should have, I should have gone with, I think, my gut a little bit more on this one. I think I got a little bit in my own head with the fact that RNG, as much as they've been playing poorly, or like whenever they are in these kind of bad stretches, it seems like no matter what, they beat Top Esports. And I think the last 5 times they've played, RNG won like 4 out of them, something like that. Like it's definitely, it's just been RNG beating Top Esports kind of no matter what. So we definitely see that trend, happen, and that's a thing that has happened. But I should have definitely recognized that Top Esports are just playing a lot better now, and they probably would have been the pick, kind of had I fully thought it out, and I think just made a better pick though. I just think I kind of missed the mark on that one as well. So overall, not too pleased with the day. Although I did end up making a little bit of money just from like the min caches and that kind of stuff because I was so heavy on AL, and mixed in a little bit of sandbox as well. Like I put my lineups were in a good spot. However, again, I don't think my takes overall were that great yesterday. So, that's just kind of the way DFS can work sometimes. Sometimes you have good takes and the lineups don't go your way. Sometimes the lineups go your way, but your takes don't. So, ultimately not the best day, but we'll try to recover. Yeah, we'll go ahead and look ahead to tomorrow. Just a little 4 gamer here, nothing too crazy. First one up is TT IG. This one is pretty interesting. Obviously, TT are still missing their bottom lane. Puff and Southwind have still not come back yet from Puff being, unfortunately, injured in one way or another. He's... I don't want to misquote something I think that's rather serious, but I believe he is suffering some sort of like facial paralysis or something like that. So it seems relatively major, but the idea was that he was going to be coming back, kind of soon, and it unfortunately has not, panned out that way. So we do have the substitute bottom lane in for TT. However, last time out, they looked really good. Kepler and Yao Yao actually looked like a very, very strong bottom lane. It's gonna be interesting. I'm very intrigued to see the odds in this one because I could argue it goes either way. I probably will expect to see TT as a maybe somewhat decent favorite here, but I'd be interested to see. Meanwhile, on the other side with IG, they're moving Wink back down to support, which is very, very concerning. And they have On in as the AD carry again. So when they did this the first time, I definitely did not like it. I thought it was like a urgent, like kind of necessity thing where they have to bring in their sub and do something with it, but I don't know. It's really weird. This is definitely a concern now. So if we look back, obviously Wink's been playing AD carry for them, and then he just randomly went to support. And then he was AD carry here. Like I don't know. They just have weird shenanigans going on here with On and Wink. Ultimately, I think they actually didn't look that bad. That's kind of the weird thing here is they actually did not end up looking that bad. The problem is you just don't have the level of knowledge and skill and kind of you're just not quite up to snuff with being really, really good, like professional level players when you're swapping roles indiscriminately in the middle of the LPL split. There's just so many ins and outs and small things that you need to have with being a pro player, and he's just not had any time, I think, to swap between AD carry and support. Granted, it is the easiest swap because it is still the same lane. You're still bottom lane. You still a lot of those mechanics are still the same. However, I just think it's just such an odd situation, and I don't understand why. the caveat was I thought they were going to be picking interesting things. Like I think they did it in the third game here when they had the Seraphine Senna bottom lane. I think that's what the idea was supposed to be. But then in games 1 and 2, they just picked regular comps with Wink going on the Amumu and then Renata. So just kind of regular things. I will say in game 2, they actually looked really good. Wink actually looked pretty good on the Renata, and On looked very good on the Aphelios. That's why I'm not too afraid of this bottom lane. Are they going to win? Or, I'm not sure. Like, it's just an odd situation. We'll look at the odds. So, IG is the favorite. Wow. Okay, well, that makes this decision super easy for me. I should have just checked the odds a long time ago. That's a silly mistake of me, but IG should not be the favorite here. They've not been playing well. They're swapping these bottom lane players. That's just a lot of problems. And TT looked pretty good last time out, I think, with the same bottom lane of Kepler and Yao Yao. Yao Yao obviously brought out what's it called? He played the Alistair. He has a few options there. We know Kepler's been a former LPL 80 carry, so we know he has the level, or close to it at least. And I think overall TT's been looking pretty good overall lately, compared to the rest of the league. And although I definitely am concerned with IG, like the upside is there for sure. I wonder what the pricing is like. IG is the favorite here. You could definitely argue going either way. I do think this is a matchup you're going to want a good bit of. Like, obviously, I think this is going to be a pretty action-intense game. There are two bottom-of-the-barrel teams. TT are 11th, IG are 16th. I don't know. This is probably the worst thing you could do as a DFS or, better type person is continue to chase like kind of what you thought was there. And that's the only thing holding me back from going on TT is that I've seen so much from IG. I've given them a lot of chances and they've just not done it for me yet. And I don't want to bail and hop off on them right when it's about to pay off. Like, I just feel like this could definitely be a pretty strong series from IG. I don't know. It's close. The odds are 50-50. You could argue going either way. I don't know. Like I feel like my head is telling me TT and my heart is telling me IG, and I'm just really unsure which one to follow at the moment. Also, I don't know, man. This one's super tough, actually. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna slightly go with IG here, just because again, I do think like they are a pretty good aggressive team. We've definitely seen, DFS aspects being a little bit more impactful. Obviously, I do think when IG win there, they probably score a good bit more. So I'm going to continue to go with the IG pick here. Again, obviously, I do think they've been a little bit hard done by their schedule, and that's something I bring up a lot with them. If we look back, they played LNG, Top Esports, Weibo, EDG. You could argue maybe AL, maybe BLG. Like, they've lost to they've lost to LNG, Weibo, TES, and EDG. So 4 pretty good teams. Then the more neutral games is they 2-0'd FPX when FPX were pretty bad, granted. They lost to AL and BLG, and then it's like I don't know how much stock to put really into those. Like going to 3 with AL is not the worst thing. Like AL's probably a playoff team. You could maybe argue BLG's close to them as well. It's close. I mean, if we look at the TT side, like they just came off of barely beating BLG with their new bottom lane here. They lost to EDG themselves, V5 as well, LNG as well. So they've beaten the bottom of the barrel WE. They've lost to JDG. So they've lost to also very elite teams. And then they've beat BLG and swept WE. So it's really hard to tell where they are. They've yet to play anybody relatively middling, I think, as well, other than maybe this BLG series. But they lost to V5, LNG, EDG, JDG. So like 4 out of that like top 6. Very, very strong for them. Swept WE, who's probably the worst team in the league. And then they barely beat BLG, who's again like a relatively middling around this area as well. So it's very, very close. I just feel like IG have the a little bit more upside, and I feel like I've seen their players do well individually at different points. They just have yet to put it all together. And I just would not be surprised to see that come through at some point. Um, and hopefully people will get a little bit scared off by the bottom lane swap again. Again, I don't think they should be doing this either. It definitely is a concern for me. Like, it's definitely one where we could look back in tomorrow and say, oh, we should have just faded IG. Why are they doing this stupid bottom lane swap stuff? But I do think it does add another fold here. Similar to what we talked about, or like what we noticed the first time with when they were doing this, was that On was more of the traditional AD carry for 2 of the 3 games. And then Wink only played the Senna in game 3. So it's not like he was getting a lot of the farm either. So for that reason, I do think you just have to play On and probably ignore Wink. I don't think they're going to be doing anything too drastic to where Wink and On could both be viable. I would definitely look more so towards On. I would not be playing Wink considering he is the starting 80 carry price on DK. It's just a way too hard to try to justify, I think. So I would be going with the top 4 players, Zika, Shun, Uakai, and On. I probably will not be touching Wink. It's just an extra fold there that I don't love. So I will be going with the favorite IG. And the reason I do feel a little bit better, or it doesn't feel the best going with like an IG favorite here, is because I do really like this favorite of a V5 here. I'm surprised the odds are this close, if I'm honest. I feel like V5 have been undoubtedly like the #1 team in the slate, or in the league. They have their full complement, I think, of roster here. They have Rich, Karsa, Rookie, Photic, PP God. They have the full lineup. I think the best, most potential lineup here. For sure. Like, I feel like they're maxed out. This is the best possible lineup they can field. And EDG have just been incredibly shaky themselves. Like, I've yet to see very much inspiration from them. Like, they've lost to the other top teams. I guess that they've only played 1, maybe 2 top teams. But, like, they've had very unconvincing performances while they've even had a relatively easy schedule. Like, 2-1 to BLG, not impressive. 2-1 to IG, not impressive. 2-1 to FPX, not impressive. Losing to OMG, not impressive. Like, their only notable win here is over Weibo. And we know Weibo's obviously not that great either. So I'm surprised that this is this close of an odds. I think EDG are getting an incredible rub still from winning Worlds last year. And I think V5 should be a little bit bigger of a favorite. And this is definitely the second series I'd like to get a good target on. I like V5. I like V5 a good bit. I like mixing and matching them with the other series. I think you could go either way, but I would be going V5 and IG. I don't know how the builds are going to work necessarily because it is double favorites. They are small favorites, so maybe the builds won't be that bad, but I like going V5. I like going IG. If we look over to the LCK, I don't want to really have any part of this at all. T1 are going against Fredit Brion. We know that's the slowest team in the league by a good bit. I don't know. DRX Gen.G, like, although Gen.G does seem like they're in a good spot, we could look at the team numbers real quickly and see if anything comes up. DRX, Gen.G, T1, Fredit Brion. If we look at losses, looks like DRX are actually giving up a good amount in losses. So maybe Gen.G would be fine, but I think, again, they're still pretty expensive, especially like Chovy's the most expensive mid laner. Peanut, Doran, Lehens, like, they're still pretty expensive. It would be worth having in your lineups, I think, for sure. But yeah, it's not ideal for sure. If we were to do the same thing over here, we have EDG, Victory 5, TT, and IG. right? Yep. So if we look at losses, it looks like V5 give up a ton of losses, although that's only a 2-game sample. IG give up a good amount of losses. EDG give up a good amount of losses as well. So it's definitely a good idea to target them. But I think overall LPL just is dominating the LCK in action at the moment. We've definitely seen some outliers, some things obviously like last night where we saw Dom1 end up taking the whole thing. I could definitely see something similar happening tonight with Gen G over DRX. However, I just have to pair them up. I have to go with V5 and IG. Maybe mix in some Gen G as well. I'm probably going to be having not the best lineups, probably some double jungle, maybe some double mids. But it is not the best. It is not the best, that's for sure. So we'll look at the players. IG, V5, and Gen G. So we'll go roll by roll quickly, and then go ahead and get out of here as we do. Top lane, none of them are great. These are all pretty bad numbers. I like to have 60% or more, but not possible on this slate. So just kind of pick your poison here. Maybe slight lean towards Zika, but don't love much there. Junglers, all are fine except Shun's definitely stands out. His kill share and kill participation is pretty crazy. Karsa usually does get stuck a little bit more on a little bit more supportive stuff. However, obviously still fine. All junglers are fine. However, I think Shun would be a little bit more of a priority for me. When it comes down to mid lane, we only have a 2-game sample from Rookie, and his numbers are not the best. I would definitely expect these to improve. I would definitely be fine going with Rookie and V5 here. Although, again, 2-game sample is not enough for me to hop off the Rookie wagon here at all. But overall, I think all the mid laners are fine. Obviously, Rookie's playing, Dream is not. I would expect Rookie's numbers to look a little bit more like Dream's. I think this 2-game sample is definitely a little bit low for his expectation. When it comes to AD carries, again, we can look and see On had pretty insane numbers in the 2 games he played. Again, 2-game sample, we don't put too much stock into it. Just like we are with Rookies, I expect On's numbers to fall a little bit more to the mean. However, I do think he's a pretty strong player. I think they looked pretty decent with him, and they played through him pretty well as well. So I'm not afraid of going with On. But again, I think all 3 AD carries are fine. Fotek's numbers are pretty insane. Ruler's numbers are great. All are fine there. When it comes to support, obviously Wink had a pretty decent participation when he was on the support. Again, but you're not paying a support price. Like Wink is the 4th priced AD carry at 74. And that would be the highest price support by over 1,000. Like, you just cannot play Wink, I don't think. It's just really hard to justify. So no IG supports for me. It would just be between Lehens and PP God. I don't really love either, but maybe I'll try to get more towards Lehens. Because I think that Siri, I don't know, I'd be fine with either. Like, it's just kind of a coin flip there. I feel like G&G are maybe a little bit more likely to get the sweep, but I don't know. Maybe you could get a little smaller ownership on PP God. Maybe because the odds on that one are so close. I'm not sure, but I'd slightly lean towards Lehens, I think. So yeah, that'll be it for me today. I'm going ahead and get out of here. My voice and nose are not on my side today, so that'll be it for me tonight. Again, I think tomorrow is the traditional 2-gamer, so that will be a night off for me. So hopefully by the time these full slates are back, I will be back as well. So that'll be it from me tonight. Hopefully you guys managed to get at least something out of the video tonight, and I will see you guys again in a couple days.